This is gonna be a pretty laid back video. I'm gonna try to sculpt G-Man. I don't sculpt a lot of like fictional characters. I don't really sculpt much characters, so this will be fun. Here's my reference little board. I'm gonna have this on a pure ref. I'm gonna have this on my my other screen. But for references, obviously you gotta have the guy that Valve referenced. But you know, this is good. But I feel like you can only do so much with this guy. You know, he doesn't really look like G-Man. So I got myself Abe Lincoln, baby. I think he looks like Abe Lincoln. Like, come on. He looks like Abe Lincoln. You see that? Look at this right here. He even has kind of like the darker eyes. Come on. For some quick background, if you don't know who G-Man is the business suit wearing, pale skinned antagonist? Question mark? Of Half-Life 1, but predominantly Half-Life 2. At first, he just kind of shows up mysteriously throughout Half-Life 1, just walking around and stuff. But once you defeat the final boss, we get to see he very clearly is not a normal guy, and very much has mind powers, and talks very weirdly.
Weapons. Most of them were government property.
Half-Life 2 opens with him talking to you, unfreezing you from being stuck in some other dimension or plane. So this guy has a lot of mysterious energy. Also, by chance if you didn't know, G-Man is short for government man, like an FBI agent or something. Okay, just like any good thing, I start the sculpture by moving my cursor around at random and clicking at intervals of 3 seconds. Just kidding. I start just by kind of blocking out generally where everything will be, you know, shoulders, neck, eye sockets are a favorite for me. But yeah, I just kind of build it up over time. I'm not a professional sculptor or anything, so I have no idea what I'm doing. But yeah, just keep going. Add some stuff that like seems like it would be there, like mouth, cheekbone, ear. The program I'm using is called 3D Coat, and I pretty much just got it. I have no idea how to use this, but it's really cool. It seems really powerful. I'm still learning, okay? This video honestly was more of an excuse to learn the program than to actually make G-Man, but yeah. Okay, it was probably around this point that I stopped voxel sculpting and I turned everything in just to a flat surface, high resolution, little mesh, whatever it's called. And I started sculpting details. Now, was this kind of a mistake? A little bit. I started sculpting details a little early. That's okay. It's helpful for me, I think, because I got all the landmarks kind of down. It looks pretty stinking ugly at this point, but you know, 100,000 tweaks down the line, it'll start to look great. You might be wondering, the Half-Life Alyx model exists, why aren't you using that for reference? Well, to me, it's kind of like if I was trying to make a dragon model from like medieval art, and then I reference like the Game of Thrones dragon. Like it's probably a little too close to what I want. And I probably end up copying it on accident just because it's kind of close to what I want. So I tried not to look at the Alyx model at all while I made this. And I think it'd be fun to compare like how mine is different, you know? Anyway, you can kind of see I started on the painting. I started with vibrant colors and we're kind of working towards muting them. I think that's a pretty good strat. It's pretty similar to what traditional artists do with like a wash. And I think the colors will give me a good idea of what this will kind of look like once it's done. So it kind of helps me identify like, like his eyes look really goofy right now. So gotta work on that. It's a slow process. So here I'm just like adding like a generic scalp color, a little bit darker, because you might have seen me sculpt the hair earlier. The plan is we're gonna have a little hair underlayer, and then I'm gonna try to do like a little bit of a hair groom kind of thing, like the pros do. Here I baked it on a super low poly mesh. Just thought that's funny. But yeah, it's starting to really shape up. Most of what I'm doing right here is tweaking paint stuff. This is a roughness map. So how shiny he is. It's actually inverted, and that really confused me. Anyway, I ended up fixing that. So kind of just kept tweaking, trying to get the shiniest zone. So like cheeks, top of the forehead, and nose. All nice and shiny. Alright, it's time for retopology. And from what I can tell, the retopology in 3D Code has some really cool tools. Like, you can draw these curves out and highlight more dense areas, and it kind of works like a charm, except I was having some difficulties because I've only done it in 3D Code a handful of times. Normally I do it in Blender, but yeah, this was a little difficult at first. Something about the UVs kept getting messed up, and there was like a huge gray blotch at the back of his body. So I had to figure out how to fix the UVs and stuff, which was honestly a little less straightforward than I thought in 3D Code, but it was still pretty fine. It took like a couple hours or something. Okay, and a little bit of a time skip there. Sorry about that. I forgot to record again. But I brought Gman into Blender, and this is where I was making more fine-tuned tweaks that I think would be a little bit more of a pain for me doing 3D Code, just because I'm not used to it. But yeah, it's starting to look pretty good. Okay, and this is where we get into experimental territory for me, because I've never made hair cards before, so I was just giving this a go. I drew out some hair and embossed it on the X and Y to make a normal map, and just started duplicating. I assume that's how you do it. I mean, it seems pretty reasonable. It wasn't that difficult. Here I'm editing the alpha of it a little bit to make it more transparent, and the normal map a little bit to make it seem more bumpy. And yeah, I just kept doing that. I didn't record a lot of the process because I wasn't sure if it was good, but it seems like it's shaping up. The reason the texture file looks so empty is because the plan was to have like more than one variation of hair, but like, you know, like a wispy one and a super clumped up one, but I just ended up going with this one. I thought it did fine. And how I did the hair colors was I made one salt and pepper variant, and then I made one like black one. And the plan was to just blend between them with a simple shader and like vertex colors. You know what I mean? For some reason that didn't export into Godot. I gotta look into that, but like in theory it should work. And that's the model. That's pretty much it. I rigged it up with some bones, with some spring bones in Godot, and I thought it looked really funny. Did a couple shape keys. I didn't fully rig the face or anything. That's a challenge for next time. But yeah, hope you like it. I know the thumbnail says it's like the best model yet. It's not. I think it still looks pretty good though. Compared to the Half-Life Alyx model, I think it looks a lot closer to like the Half-Life 2 G-Man. I also made this fan art in Photoshop with the model. I just like painted on top of it and stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. I was trying to go more of the route like G-Man is a virus or something kind of like interesting. Not like computery per se, but like, you know, yeah, you get it. Anyway, hope you liked the video.